Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Live and Give Show. I'm your host, Huang Nguyen, alongside my lover, Dr. Jaime Gonzalez. Today's topic is going to be one of our favorites, our top travel destinations around the world. So stay tuned.
Welcome to the Live and Give Show with Dr. Jaime Gonzalez and Dr. Hua Nguyen. Join us as we share our experiences and those of other experts in their fields who've discovered financial security while creating a pathway towards giving back to others.
All right. So, what do you think about traveling? Huh? This is going to be a fun one, guys. We'll tell you some of our top ones. I mean, we've traveled quite a bit, I would say. How many countries would you say we've been to at least?
45, 46 countries, I think.
Yeah. And so we'll pick out some of the top ones. I mean, there's obviously so many more that we haven't even been to. So we would love for you guys to share some of your top travel destinations as well. But we'll share the ones that we have really thoroughly loved and why we love them, and some tips also about those destinations. You want to start us off, lover, with one of your top favorites?
Well, before we start off, before you were an optometrist and real estate investor and all the other positions, I think you would have done a great job being a travel agent, because she loves to plan and plan. Even on vacation, she's planning for the next one. So I think you can help out a lot of people out there. If for some reason you decide not to be an eye doctor anymore, or real estate, or all the other businesses, I think you'll do pretty good as a travel agent. But I think before, initially, whenever we started traveling together, because whenever I was younger, I didn't travel very much at all. I think my first airplane experience was maybe whenever I was 20,
Wow.
21 years old. Yeah. So, we were not on an airplane. We would go on road trips. So that was actually really fun. And, a lot of the times it would be like a 12-hour road trip.
Whoa.
So all across, I have some family in West Texas and across the border in Mexico. So we would go for about 11 to 12 hours, drive all the way across. And that was kind of cool and fun. If we had AC, if we didn't have AC, it was not fun, because we would go during the summertime.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah.
But yeah, and whenever 20, 21 years old, that's whenever I was like, oh, I can get on an airplane and travel, and more time, less time, freedom back then. But now it's like, man, I can go whenever I want, and with whoever I want, and at whatever time. And so,
And that was a criteria for me, because I knew at a very young age that I love to travel, right? And so when we started dating, I mean, that was one of my first questions for you was, do you enjoy traveling? Even though you hadn't traveled much, you wanted to travel, right? And then your love for cuisine and different food and different ethnic foods, it goes hand in hand with traveling around the world to try different cuisines, right? So it was like, yes, this will work,
Yeah. So my one of my first questions was like, for us to be together, is do you enjoy food? And she's like, what kind of question is that? No, you don't understand my question. Do you really enjoy, different types of foods? And you were like, oh yeah, I love different types of cuisines. I love to try new things. But mostly it was like Asian cuisines that you were familiar with, right? So, but yeah, and then you were asking me, you have to want to travel, if we want to be together. So that's how it would work out, right?
Right.
So
thankfully that worked out, because we both love food and we both love to travel around the world, right? And so being able to expand traveling, it's opened up our eyes and our perspective of the world, and and the gratitude for what we have here in the US also, right?
Mhm.
There's so many beautiful places here right in our backyard in our own country here in the United States. But we love also, getting to go outside to travel to different countries to experience more variety, right?
Mhm.
That we don't maybe have here in perspective of sometimes the things we may take for granted if you're born here in the States or whatnot, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why, that's one of the reasons that Athena travels with us so much, because she needs to get a perspective on what she has here in the States. And I mean, she has it made. It's like, I mean, whenever we were growing up, it was a little bit tough, right?
Right.
So, but she can get to see other countries, how the kids interact, how pretty much most of the kids are always happy. Some of them don't have any shoes, or running around outside most of the day without a shirt on, but they're happy.
Mhm.
So she gets that perspective. They don't have much, but they're still happy.
Right.
So and now it's like a lot of our travel is because of charity work, right? So
Mhm.
and that's even better for me. I feel even better coming back from a trip, more energized, having more gratitude for what I have here in the States, right? And that way we can help more people out. But
Right.
yeah, the traveling whenever I was in my 20s, this changed versus
Right.
now my age. For before, it was just like I just want to have fun, as much fun as I want, and I have to have some of their wine and some of their beer and cuisine, and I want to take a look at the architecture and the history. And now most of that is not even what I want now,
Mhm.
So I'm not looking for, somewhere I go if they have a particular wine or beer, or, I don't need all that anymore. Right. So I don't even care so much for the architecture and, all the buildings and all the history and things like that anymore. That's for me, for a lot of people, that's what they love, right?
Right.
But for me, that doesn't really matter anymore. What matters for me is getting to interact with people there in the country, and knowing their traditions and what they stand for, their values.
So pick one
And
right now. Tell people, start with the country that you enjoy. One of your top ones.
So I would probably say, just to kind of piggyback off the what I was just saying, I think Japan's probably one of my favorites.
And why? And which parts of Japan? So people who are listening in, if they've never been, what is the places you've been in Japan that you've really enjoyed and why?
So we've been all over Japan pretty much, right? So we've probably spent maybe almost 5 weeks in Japan, and we've gone, to visit my brother-in-law over there. So he kind of knows the area. So um, I really enjoy Osaka, and that's probably my favorite place there. We've gone to several other cities, but it's not as super busy as Tokyo, but it has everything Tokyo has in a little bit smaller scale, and I love what they stand for, and they like one word. If I were to describe Japan, is respect, and everywhere you go, even on the train station, most people don't talk. They are to themselves. They're either taking a nap, or they're looking at some documents or reading, maybe on their phone, but they're not talking. They have that respect for one another, and it's completely packed. Those trains are packed, and that's just something that I was super surprised. And same thing in Tokyo, right? It's even more packed, but it's very quiet, very organized.
Right.
So many people there, but everyone respects each other and where they're going, and they don't seem to be in a hurry over there for some
No.
reason. It's
Mhm.
everything is a
It's
little
a
bit more
different
laid back.
it's a different culture. I
Yeah.
think that was a big thing for us. It was a culture shock because of the respect, the cleanliness everywhere we went. I mean, you could not find trash on the streets, and everything was clean. We felt extremely safe, right? Seeing kids being able to. My brother lived over there with our nephews and niece, and for 2.5 years. And the kids, at a young age, they would take the train by themselves, go to the market, go to, school. And there would be, everybody would kind of watch out for one another. And the commonality that's over there, it's about community.
Mhm.
It's not about yourself alone. It is about the community as a whole. And
Mhm.
I thought that that was really, really impactful. Having nephews and nieces who are teenagers, being accustomed to the way we grew up here, they were born here in the States, having them experience 2.5 years of their life in a Japan culture was an eye opener for them.
Mhm.
That taught them a lot about respect and, just as a community to care for others and things like that. So I agree. I of all the different places we went to, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Sasebo, Fukuoka, Nagasaki, and so good variety. And most people, if you're flying to Japan, you'll fly into. There's two different international airports in Tokyo,
Mhm.
right? But if you're flying from Tokyo to Osaka from there, there's so many different bullet trains and different ways to get around in the train system over there. But in Osaka, you're close enough that you can go to Kyoto and some of the other places nearby, and you get the city, but it's not as congested. You get the beautiful landscape and nature and temples and all those things that you enjoy also at a better price point also compared to say at the heart of Tokyo. Now Sasebo, where my brother was stationed, is even a smaller city, about an hour drive from Fukuoka, which is a bigger international airport as well. But if you want to enjoy really good food and stay in Japan a little bit longer, it's probably 1/4 of the price point compared to Japan in Tokyo, right? And so if you wanted to have some city, you want to have some real authentic food, and you still enjoy the mountains and the lakes and kind of the water and some of the city, Sasebo is actually a really cool place. No one's usually heard about Sasebo. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. You can get a full course meal for a really good price. And these supermarkets that sell the sashimi and sushi and things, so fresh, fresher than what we can get here in the States at a fraction of the cost, right? And so, no, I agree. Athena and all three of us would agree that that's one of our top destinations.
That's her number one. So
That's Athena's number one destination. She really wants to get a second home there. All right.
Yeah.
What is a second destination that you would say?
You can go next. You can go next, and then I'll do the third.
Okay, so my second destination, I would say, is Belize. I absolutely fell in love with Belize. Went on a girls' trip from your recommendation because I had never heard about Belize, and that was in 2015. It's hard to believe that's 9 years ago.
Mhm.
And it was the four of us going over there for the first time. And there are several small islands, right, in Belize. One of the main islands over there is called Ambergris Caye, and the town there is called San Pedro. So if you've ever listened to Madonna and La Isla Bonita, and you listen to the lyrics, that's the island she was talking about in the 80s, right?
Mhm.
And so when I went there, I mean, we're going from the big air, we went on a big commercial plane to Belize City. And then from there, you have the option to do a small plane over to the island, which is about 15 minutes. And it's like a 15, 16 seater, or you can take the water taxi or ferry over, right? But the first time I stepped foot onto the island there, I just absolutely fell in love. And even though we travel around the world, and it's not like we don't see beautiful beaches and beautiful waters everywhere, you know, but immediately there was this intuition about a place of peace. And I was like, I just love this place. I don't know what it was, but I called Jaime that night and I said, you know, we're buying something here, right? And at this point, we had not owned real estate yet, right?
Mhm.
We had just bought our primary home, but we didn't own real estate as an investment. But it was just something that drew me to there. And I was like, I just love this place. It's a 2.5 hour flight direct from Dallas, and then another 15-minute flight over. So it was really easy access. The waters are absolutely stunning. I went snorkeling for the first time over there. Oh my gosh. It has the second largest reef. And you talk about the wildlife and reef, and like we've been snorkeling to a lot of places. I'm like, I don't know what we're looking at, right?
Nothing. There ain't nothing.
And here we're seeing, I mean, you see water sharks, sea turtles, fish of all sorts of different kinds, right?
Manatees.
Manatees. You see the reef life that it's so vivid
Lobster.
and vibrant, right?
A lot of lobster.
And you talk about food, man, that's the epitome of cuisine, like fresh seafood. Man, lobster season, we go lobster spearing over there, and we do conch, you know, having ceviche, probably our favorite. It is our favorite ceviche destination. But just
Favorite
really-
lobster.
yeah, lobster, fish, everything is fresh, right? And so, I mean, I was like, okay, the waters are beautiful, the people are really kind, the water activities and things that you can do there, and no one is like trying to harass you or bother you, or like everyone is minding their own business. Like we can lay on the beach and just be chill without having tons of people trying to sell you stuff, you know?
Mhm.
So it was really a different feel and vibe. And, you know, and every few months we would go back, and I took Jaime back. We've taken our staff back. We've taken family back, and we've gone back and forth to Belize. You know, it is our second home. I mean, we bought land, we built our home. We bought multiple lots of land that we haven't even developed out yet. But if, you know, we say it's, if you're looking for all-inclusive high luxury, this is not your place, right? But if you're looking to really connect with nature and take it slow, the motto there is be kind, go slow,
Mhm.
right? And so one of the smaller islands there is Key Cocker. So we go between both islands when we visit. And I mean, you'll have somebody driving on their bike, an old man. I mean, he's got braids. He doesn't have a care in the world. He has no shoes, you know, and he's the happiest person. Like people are just genuinely happy. They're always
With the
smiling.
boombox, with the
With the
boombox
boombox.
on his bike.
They're living life, and they're like, don't worry, no worries. Like, you know? And so every time I go there, I completely decompress. I disconnect from our day to day. And I was just like, wow, I just love the serenity and the peace I feel every time I go to Belize. And so that's why I love Belize. But
Yeah, I love so the first week of July is lobster season. That's whenever it opens, and they have Lobster Fest for a week or two. And we usually go for that week, and we stay at our place there, and we're gonna be there again. But I think lobster spearing for me, that's awesome. You don't have a tank or anything. You just hold your breath. You have a spear, and you go for your lobster. And I think there's been, you know, a few times. I mean, probably in 30 minutes or an hour, you can get 20 to 30 lobsters. You know, so if you like lobster, I mean, that is the place. This lobster is like spiny lobster, kind of semi sweet for fish, but not really sweet. But that's what they call it. But very tender. It's not like the Maine lobster. It's not kind of tough and a little rubbery,
No,
you know. So
super
and
sweet and tender.
yeah, so I mean, this is my favorite type of lobster. And I mean, whenever we get our 20, 30 lobsters, just between just a few people, and they take us, we get a private, fisherman there. And then they take us to the remote side of a beach, and they grill them, and they do ceviche and everything else that they catch. And that is awesome. I mean, I could do that pretty much every day, I think. And I mean, there's little kids kind of helping us, usually there's two other people kind of helping me lobster dive and spear. But there's little kids that we've seen, 12, 13 years old. Man, they hold their breath for like 3 or 4 minutes. They have 3 or 4 lobsters that they spear, all at once. And then I'm doing one at a time, holding my breath for like a minute, because there's waves too. So it's kind of, it's kind of tough. And after 5 minutes, you're pretty much worn out. So it's no, I think I could live by, just over there, just spearing lobster and helping tourists, so that'd be,
one of the things is this is not the lobster spearing is not one that they advertise for, tourists. So most of the time, most of the companies that they have based out in the islands, the tours that they do are sunset cruise, catamaran, snorkeling, Ho-Chan Reef, and more of the common ones, or you can go to the smaller island to Key-Cocker. They don't advertise the lobster spearing. And so we know a lot of the owners who own the boats. And so anytime that we want to go, we'll reach out to the owners and let them know how many people we have. And we can customize the full day or half day, however we want to do it. And then they can accommodate whatever we want to do for that day, whether we want to do fishing, lobster spearing, conch diving, snorkeling, going to another island, beach barbecue, and so everything is done. And I think of all the things that we do, whenever we take people, that's the most memorable experience that people have ever done, because you can't go to any other place and have such an experience. And all your catch, you eat right there. And then they bring all the side items with you, right? So it's not just the experience of going to snorkel and doing the spearing. You get to eat it all fresh and grill it and right then and there. And so it's a really fun experience. And then if you're like, I'm tired, I want to go do something else, they're so nice. They're able to be like, okay, let's switch gears. So you're not on a set schedule because it's only you and your party. Right. And so you're able to customize that. And so if anybody's watching this or listening in and you're like, I want to go to Belize, I've never been, I'd like to go lobster spearing, connect me, reach out to us. Right. And also we have a home. It's called Athena's Mahogany House by the Bay. So this is, we named it. It's a legacy asset. We named it after our daughter, but it's a really beautiful home. We were the first one to buy land in that street next to the resort and build on that house. And now that street is being developed out. And we now have a pool right next door, a really good restaurant right next door. So it's like 2 bedrooms downstairs, 2 lofts upstairs, really beautiful home. And so people who've come through our home and rented it out, they're just like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And the location is really nice. And then you get to go around on the island on a golf cart. So if you've never done that, it's not many cars on the island. There's a few taxis and stuff. The main mode of transportation is you get on a golf cart. And then the best place to swim, if you go on the bigger island, is you go to Secret Beach, which of course is no longer a secret, but it's beautiful waters on the West Coast. East Coast, busy. West Coast, but a lot prettier water, no waves, super clear waters, right? So I would highly encourage, if you guys get a chance and never been to Belize, never been to San Pedro or Key-Cocker, definitely go.
Yeah, another thing, it's whenever we do the sunset catamaran cruise, and you can either just rent out the catamaran with your family, or you can go with another family. But I think because of some places that we've gone in boats, there's a lot of waves, right?
Yeah.
And there, the coral reef, sometimes it's about, a half a mile out or a mile out in some areas of the island, but that stops a lot of the waves. So it's very, very relaxed. There's not many waves. Whenever there's a storm, there's not many waves at all because
Right.
that coral reef just kind of
Because that reef
stops it.
protects it. Yeah.
So catamaran, cruises, rides, are
Oh,
really, really
diving.
nice.
Bunch of diving people. It's a very blue hole, a lot of very popular diving destination. We snorkel, we don't dive, but I know a lot of people go there for diving and
Fly fishing is a big thing over there because there's only specific types of fish that you can actually catch there. And they try to compete, and so that's a really cool.
And they have yoga retreats and stuff over there. I mean, so there's a whole versatility of things that you can do on the mainland. There's also day tours. You can do like cave tubing. I thought that was a really cool experience. Whether you want to do ATV, zip lining, zoo, cave tubing, and on the islands, jet skiing, parasailing, all those different water activities. But there's
if you even want to rent a private island, I mean, you can do your own thing there.
That's
with
true.
with
you
the
can rent a whole private island,
like a family reunion type of thing. You can get like 20 people, and I mean, we've done that as well. That's a really cool experience.
Yeah,
and the water is just, man, it's beautiful
stunning waters,
and
too.
it's not cold, so love it there, especially on the west coast of the island. There's like hardly any waves. I mean, very, very tranquil waters, and the sunsets are, oh man, the sunsets are awesome there.
If the universe will align with the land that we have on the west coast, if we can build our future home but also have a casitos or a retreat center on the west side of the island, that would make me really happy, lover.
I'll work on that. Since I'm your assistant. So let's talk about maybe
Next
a third one.
Okay, third one, you go.
So this is probably going to be two smaller little towns that are in Mexico, and not a lot of people know about these two little areas here. I don't know if I should say them. Maybe we'll save it for the next one.
No, tell people.
I'm kidding. No, the probably my favorite couple towns in Mexico. One of them is called Bacalar, and that is there's now an airport. I believe it just opened not too long ago in Tulum. It's not in Tulum, so it's about 2 hours south of Tulum. So you can actually arrive in Tulum or in Cancun. In Cancun, I think it's about 4 hours if you have a driver, or you can take another plane over to the town. But it takes a little while to get there. But it's actually a small town, and it has a beautiful lagoon. And there's
7-color lagoon is what it's called.
Yeah, and they have in Spanish they're called cenotes, but it's just underwater that comes from underneath the ground, and it's fresh water. And so it doesn't, if you have kids, a lot of the times whenever you go to the beach, they complain about, the salt and it burns and things like that. So that's one reason we like this particular place. But the water, my God, it is beautiful. And it's like sand, pretty much. I would say there's a lot of sandbars. So if you go out, probably, a half a mile out, it's to your knees, the water. And then you go to other areas that are a little bit deeper. But at that particular area, I mean, if you get a boat, there's people that bring you the fruit, your beverages, and everything else that you want in the water. You can sit down about a mile out, and you can be eating and talking and chit-chatting. And so that is probably one of the cool areas if you like the water. And it's like soft sand. It's not muddy sand. It's not grainy sand. It's not, sharp little rocks. So you can walk really, really nicely there. And the town, there's not many tourists that go there from the US. So
From Europe.
right
if
now,
anything.
right now it's mainly just like from Spain and Italy. And so that's who actually goes through there and backpacks through there. And so I like that as well too. And, there's not a lot of, it's a small town, so there's not really big hotels or anything like that. If you can talk about the place that we stayed in a
Oh,
little bit.
so-
And
okay, go ahead.
yeah, so, but the food there is phenomenal as well. And so I love the cuisine there. I mean, everything is super fresh again. Everyone's super nice there. So that's one of my places in Mexico. And then another one, it's not a beach destination. It's more kind of central Mexico, San Miguel de Allende. That's also a very small town. It's a kind of a hilly, mountainous city. The weather is, springtime pretty much year round. That is probably one of my top 5 food destinations, San Miguel de Allende. And it is beautiful. It's an artsy city. And so there's a lot of art within. You would walk down the street, but you wouldn't even know that this particular house is actually an art museum. They open the doors, and then so you can kind of look in, and then you can kind of walk in, and they have the houses over there.
Oh,
And that's like my dream house, having.
well, we can make it happen.
that, and it's not like, super grand or anything. It's I would probably say maybe 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 square feet, and some of them. But that courtyard and the way that that's built in those kind of Spanish style homes, that is awesome. From the outside is very unassuming. It's
Mhm.
very bland. But once you go in, oh my gosh, it is beautiful. And so I think because of the climate and the food, everyone's super nice. It seems like every day something's going on.
Mhm.
There's always music. And it's a small town that not a lot of people know about. So I think that's why it's one of my top ones.
Well, I agree. I love both of those. And Athena and I absolutely fell in love when we first went to both of those. In Bacalar, when we went, now they have the airport Chetumal, where it's a closer drive out. When we first went, we flew into Cancun and then spent time there, and then hired a private driver to go all the way down, which took us about 4 hours. But now you can fly, from Cancun or other destinations to Chetumal, and then have a shorter drive right over to Bacalar, or even from Tulum. It's about a 2-hour drive from Tulum.
From Chetumal, I think it's like
15,
45.
is it?
No, it's
No,
like 30 to 45 minutes,
Yes.
depending on the route you
Okay,
take.
so it's still not too bad. But the food there was absolutely spectacular. Like you said, the water, without having the salt in it, you don't have to worry about waves, salt, rocks, sargassum, or like seaweed or anything, right? Because
Mhm.
it's just a lagoon water, but it really looks like crystal clear beach water,
Mhm.
right? So that was definitely something we thoroughly enjoyed. And San Miguel de Allende, we flew into Leon, and then we hired a driver for about an hour or so
Mhm.
to get into the smaller town. But again, probably one of my top food destinations in Mexico was San Miguel de Allende,
Mhm.
and so we'll be going again soon. This summer, we'll be hitting up San Miguel de Allende, Mexico City, and then Bacalar, and then Belize. So all the top places that we really enjoy, we're hitting up this summer, right? But yeah, that was something that I wasn't expecting. I've heard about San Miguel de Allende but no, not a big tourist place either, because it's out of the way,
Mhm.
But
Very
everything
safe.
very safe, extremely safe. Airport is a little smaller, but it's very quick and easy,
Mhm.
right? In and
Yep.
out. I was like, whoa, I love this, right? All right. So next destination.
Your turn.
So my turn. For another food destination that I really enjoy is Malaysia. I really, really love Malaysian street food. When we went a few years back, we went to Malaysia and Singapore. And although Singapore is beautiful, very clean, very good food as well, but Malaysia has some of the really very flavorful crab dishes that I still think about it till this day. And so there's this street that they're very well known for. And every night, they are restaurants and then they have food stalls and tables. And you would just go and just eat a little bit from one place. And then you can grill and eat right there, right? They would grill the prawns and stuff right there from one place. You jump to another place and you have some crab sauteed. There's two different popular styles that the Malaysians do it, right? And there's kind of like a black sauce that they
Black
do,
bean sauce.
like a black pepper sauce crab. That's my favorite dish there. And then the coconut ice cream. OMG! It's so good.
Even the bacon that they were frying. Athena she ate a whole bag. There's probably like 12, 14 pieces of bacon in there. She ate pretty much the
Now,
whole thing.
if you like hotels and you want good customer service and great food at a great price, one of our favorite hotels is in Malaysia called Shangri-La,
Mhm.
right? And top-notch customer service. Their food buffets in the morning, oh my God, it was so diverse and so amazing. Just their selection.
I
and the
think
food.
that's probably my favorite breakfast food buffet. Like at whatever hotel, that's my favorite.
That was my favorite too. And the price point was unbelievably low, right? For their 5-star resort at the time, right?
Mhm.
And this was pre-COVID that we went. We
Mhm.
haven't been back since then, but we were we've been to a lot of really nice hotels all over the world, but that one really stood out to us,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because of their service. And then because of their food, the buffet was like, whoa, I could just stay here and eat this food.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of my top 3 food destinations in where we've been. And because I think it's more of a mix of like Malay and Chinese and Indian all mixed together. And it was like so flavorful, and they just put, some sambal sauce on that and on anything. If you would put that sambal sauce that they have there, oh my gosh. So I think I 100% agree. It is a little bit, it is a lot very humid there. It's very hot. But I think putting that aside, I think that was one of my favorite destinations too. It's very diverse as well too. A lot of international people, a lot of expats there as
Right.
well. They speak English, so.
But if you do go to Malaysia, highly would encourage you to go to Singapore as well, because they're not that
it's
far
close.
apart.
Mhm.
And Singapore is more modern, super clean, very good food, a little bit pricier, obviously a lot pricier than Malaysia
Mhm.
would be. But yeah. So if you're looking for more modern, you're looking for a lot more, some of the, if you've ever watched Crazy Rich Asians, that's where it was kind of showcased over there. And so I really enjoyed Singapore too. But for food destinations in Asia, that was probably one of my favorite ones in Malaysia.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, all right. But yeah, aside from humidity and the heat, besides that, I still thoroughly enjoyed it.
Mhm. Mhm.
You want to take one last one before we wrap it up?
And I'll do one, and then you can do one more.
Okay.
I think I know which one you're gonna say for
What?
you. No, for you. So I'll reserve that for you because it's also one of my favorites.
But
But
you know
you
what
know,
I'm gonna say. Just say
oh,
it.
I know, I know what you're gonna say.
No, you know.
And so I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. And we've been 3 times in the past year, and Vietnam made my list. It's it is so different. Like something that from the north to the south to central Vietnam is very, very different. And the food, the people, the climate, and since we started doing some charity work with Tan Katie over there and their family, and we stayed primarily in Ho Chi Minh in Saigon, right? But before we had traveled all over Vietnam, including Saigon, and just some of the landscape in Vietnam is
Beautiful.
spectacular. And the food is, I'm very open to trying pretty much anything. And like one of my favorite fruits is one of her favorite fruits too. I'm just kidding. Is durian. So this particular, they call it the king of fruits. If you have never heard of it, you should look that up. It's not for the faint of heart,
No.
but it is. Some people describe it very pungent, and they give it a whole different, meaning to fruit. But that particular place, they love durian, and I'm starting to also love durian, right?
After
So-
trying it 9 times, I finally, probably just last month, started enjoying. Oh, it's actually, before I couldn't swallow it. I thought I hated it. And then finally, the 9th time, after finally being more open to it, I was like, okay, let me try again. And I had it a more mild version. It was frozen, kind of a custard type flavor and taste. I'm like, I actually really like this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we probably spend about, in the past year, maybe 5 weeks total in Vietnam, and going from north to central to south. And probably my favorite city there is Hanoi,
Mhm.
and it's a little bit cooler climate. The street food scene is spectacular, and then the Grab app, that is awesome.
Thank you, Tan, for introducing the.
That, oh my gosh, you order something, from whatever restaurant in the city, and because they're in Ho Chi Minh and Saigon, there's not really any traffic lights, and there's not really people stopping, or they are all over the place. It's not organized. There are motorcycles going different directions on the sidewalk.
It's probably organized chaos to them.
Yes. But it's also an advantage for the Grab app, because they order something and the motorcycle just goes wherever they want, and you have it, within like 10, 15 minutes, and it's very inexpensive.
Super inexpensive in Vietnam.
Yes. And I mean, just the flavor profile over there, it's amazing. You have a lot of fresh food. There's a lot of French influence there, so you have that French cuisine, and there's other types of Asian, food, international foods there too. But if sticking with the Vietnamese food there, going from north to south is completely different. The flavor profile was amazing.
I know why else Vietnam made the list for you. Besides the food, massages. I think he gets the best massages ever in Vietnam.
If you like a massage, a 3-hour massage will cost you about $25. 3 hours. And then you can have, you can take a shower before or after. and then it's very laid back in the room, and then they have all these other things as well, like the hot rocks, and the scrubbing, the deep. They have everything. But there was one day, that first time we went, that I did 2 3-hour massages,
On the
3 in the
same
morning
day.
and 3 in the evening, 3 hours. That was amazing.
Well, I knew you
That-
were hooked. You'd be hooked to Vietnam after that.
And then you go, you eat something, and then you just go get another 3-hour massage.
Yeah, your
And-
dollar gets stretched long ways in Vietnam.
Yeah,
So,
and it-
to travel, to eat, to do massages, to get your hair done, to get everything done. You want your nose, you want your hair, you want your skin, you want your facial, you want your body. I'm like, that's a great destination to be able to have it all, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, for personal wellness time for
Yes.
you to kind of get rejuvenated, I think that's a good place to go.
absolutely.
And you used to get your hair massaged and
yeah, I would get-
every day.
Oh, if you think washing your hair is a normal thing, like over there, it's like they do the head massage, they wash your hair, but just the scalp massage and the time they take in doing that, it feels amazing. And when my brother was over there and I would go visit him, it would be right across the street. The market was an open market, and then they had a little hair salon place there. And every morning I'll just go over there and they shampoo and condition my hair and do a scalp massage, and it would feel so good. It'd be like a few bucks, not even a few bucks, right? I'm like, okay, I'll just walk over there, right?
Mhm. And if
Um,
you want to tip, if you
Yeah. I mean,
for a
I-
massage, you go ahead and have a good tip, because
Yeah.
I mean it's very affordable.
It's so affordable.
So
And if you go into the main city like Ho Chi Minh, or what we know as Saigon, but that's the big city, so the price point there is more expensive than when you go out to some of the other smaller cities and towns and villages. But even at that price point in the main city, the biggest main city there, it's still cheap compared to anywhere else here in the States,
mhm.
right? To eat the foods. But yes, absolutely. So let's finish up the last destination. Or you're not done with Vietnam yet.
No, I'm good. Recommended.
Highly recommended. As you can say.
That's I probably wouldn't recommend if you're going for a vacation to relax. Saigon's probably not going to be your destination.
Yeah.
It's
Expand out.
is very busy. They're in the city. It's very, very developed now. Very techy. So
let's name a few places that we did really enjoy that would be a little bit more of a diverse flavor of Vietnam. If you're really going to go spend a couple of weeks or so in Vietnam and you want to try different places, I would recommend flying to Da Nang. And then once you're in Da Nang, there's a place called Ba Na Hills, which is really beautiful. It has the Golden Bridge with the hand. And that's kind of if you look it up, that's a place that's very well recognized.
great for family.
Beautiful. Higher altitude, cooler temperature. It's French colonial design. It's like a city within up
In the
hill,
clouds.
in the clouds. Most amazing experience. Really beautiful. Hoi An is a city really close by to Da Nang. And then they have these little baskets that you can go, these water baskets that you can go out. It's 2 people, and then the local people row you out there. That's a really unique experience. And then there's the water lanterns. They have these boats that take you on a lantern. You make wish at night, and the city lights up at night. So there's a night market, and you can really get a flavor of doing that. Really cool experience. So if you go to Da Nang, highly recommend you do both Da Nang and Hoi An. Now, Jaime mentioned Hanoi. So that's in the north. So they have an international airport. You can fly directly over there as well. And then a lot of people also do Ha Long Bay once they go to Hanoi,
Mhm.
and then you can do a short cruise, like a little boat. They'll take you out and go a little sightseeing and things like that. Don't spend too much time there, short period of time doing Ha Long Bay, a little bit of Hanoi. I thought Sapa was a really cool place. You see the rice villages, rice fields. You see higher elevation, cooler temperature, beautiful landscaping and mountains over there. Food profile is definitely a little bit different in Sapa, but they have what's called, we climbed up this place called, what is that place over there that we climbed up? Do you remember what that was called?
It's at the tip of my
It
tongue.
starts with a V. I don't remember, but Sapa, it has a
Mm.
destination that you climb up, and they have a city up there, a temple, and very beautiful as well. that we
Very
hiked
high
up.
altitude.
Higher altitude, so you want to hydrate really well. But I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then Jaime hasn't gone yet, but I went one time in 2012, and my family lives close to Nha Trang, and so Nha Trang is a beach city, fresh seafood. A lot of tourists do go there, but really good food profile there, beach town. And then Dalat is also one of my top destinations in
Mhm.
Vietnam. Very beautiful. Again, a cooler temperature than what most of Vietnam is like. If you go to Saigon, it's very hot and humid and very congested. Dalat is not going to be like that. You get more nature, more landscape, great food. And so the universal theme is there's great food everywhere in Vietnam at very low cost points. But if depending on the altitude that you're in is going to determine the temperature that you're going to be going.
The karaoke's
Oh yeah.
bars over there,
And they have karaoke
Oh.
buses.
they are amazing. They are like all decked out. They bring you great food and great screens, good microphones, and that was one of my favorite too. I really enjoyed the karaoke.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to end up with our last destination. Obviously, there's a lot more that we've traveled to that we thoroughly enjoy, but these are some of our top ones. And so my finale is going to be Spain. Spain.
I already knew it, see?
Absolutely.
That's why I left it for you.
Absolutely fell in love with Spain. The first time we went was for our honeymoon. We went to Madrid. And that was in 2009. We went and honeymooned over there. And oh my God, you talk about amazing cuisine, culture, laid back, beautiful landscaping, history, culture, but paella, wine. I mean, everybody eats dinner super late over there. It's so funny
Mhm.
because we would go in at 6 or 7 and there's no one there. Everyone eats like at 8 or 9, you know,
9 or 10.
9 or 10.
But
But
they usually have a siesta in the afternoon. So it's like they don't go to sleep till like midnight or 1.
yeah.
And then they go to work the following day. And then they're out for lunch for 2.5 hours. And
Yeah.
so that's why they're
But
able to do that.
Madrid, and we've been to Madrid and Barcelona as far as Spain. Madrid being the top one so far in Spain that we've really enjoyed. And there's this market, and you just walk around in the market and all the fresh seafood and tapas and food. Oh man, I was like, that again is definitely another food destination
Mhm.
that I thoroughly enjoy, but just the way of life, again, just the feel, like how does a place make you feel, right? And immediately I fell in love. It was one of those right off the bat. I mean, we had gone to 3 different destinations for our honeymoon, but Spain immediately for both of us really resonated in our heart. And we're like, man, we would come here and live here too, right? It would be a
Mhm.
destination we would consider. Right. And so I said, if we could have 4 homes that we could rotate and just travel quarterly and then rent it out when we're not there. We already have one in Belize, right? We said we're working on Japan, and then Spain would be another one, right?
Just
And then
small little homes.
Small little homes, and then
for
San Miguel
us,
de Allende,
us 3. So that'd
And I
be
said we
good.
could quarterly just rotate between those 4 different destinations, depending on what weather we're in, what season we're in. And then when we're not there, maybe we can rent those out.
Yep. I'll start working on it.
Start working on it. We got to plant the seeds. You got to manifest what you want, right? Visualize it, dream it, manifest it out there and make it happen. So, but, absolutely share with us some of your top destinations. If there's some that you would highly recommend, we go and scope it out. We love to travel. We always ask people, where your favorite places are. And then we
Mhm.
research it and we go and make it happen. So,
And if any of our friends want to go somewhere and that we haven't gone, or if they want to kind of join us in one of our trips, we do that quite often as well. So just let us know. and then we can plan it out. And we're gonna go to 3 of our favorites,
Yeah.
for Athena's vacation.
And so now she just did her vision board. She just finished her vision board, but because she's heard us speak about Spain so much and she hadn't gone to Spain, Spain made her vision board.
That's awesome.
So we'll have to take her soon to go to Spain to go experience it, right? But, give the gift of traveling to yourself and your family and your loved ones and create experiences. It's great to, we work so hard all our lives and, to accumulate and have a little bit more financial freedom or at least a little bit of extra. And even if, you are on a budget, and when we were starting out, we were on a very tight budget. We didn't have much time. We obviously didn't have financial freedom, but it was something that was a priority for us to be able to create memories and experiences that, I didn't want to leave this world and feel like unfulfilled and not be able to see enough of the world, And so I said, that's why I love to plan so much. I travel, I research the places, and we travel on a budget. It's not like we're doing first class, we're doing high price resorts at the beginning when we started traveling or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can effectively plan, and book different seasons where flights are very affordable, right? And hotels are extremely cheap, right? But you have to know how to plan this. And that's why I've become to love planning in advance and traveling. And that's why he makes fun of me. He's like, you could be a traveler. If all fails, you could become a travel agent because you're so good at planning trips at a very cost-effective price, right? And so
you and Teresa, our friend Teresa, y'all are the top of planning everything. Teresa also plans, like
yes.
a 2-3 week thing with, like
whole group.
30 people, so or more. So it's like, man, y'all have it down and to the T, and everything goes so well. So yeah, if it doesn't work out, there's a backup.
But thank you all. Any last words, lover?
I've learned a lot from traveling, a lot about myself now, and especially, these last probably 5 years of traveling. And, at first I used to be a little bit more impatient, but now I'm quite a bit more patient and using some strategies. But I'm very lucky that our daughter's coming with us because she's also learning with us, right? And we get to share that experience with us. And a lot of the times it's, not about things, but about moments and experiences, So I'm glad we're able to do it as a family.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Absolutely. That is the blessing. And, kids grow up so fast. And I think that we've been very blessed that we've had the opportunity to be able to take her to go and travel the world at a young age. And then also for her to participate in the philanthropy work and have big perspective of the world. I think that's better and bigger than any classroom experience and anything that we can buy her or gift her. Is these experiences as a family, to spend quality time together, to spend time with people and open her eyes to diversity and unity and humanity, and I think that's at the end of the day, if we can teach her that kindness, humanity, love, and connection, I think we've done our job.
Mm-hmm.
And
it doesn't have to be, it can be big or small vacation, but away from, your home, having a staycation, and that's what we do sometimes, but also getting a different perspective in life, and you don't have to stay at fancy hotels. Sometimes we stay at little bitty, hotels that are very inexpensive, but change it up a little bit, so compared to your everyday routine, right?
Absolutely. But thank you everyone for joining in. I hope you enjoyed some of our top travel destinations, and we'll do some more even in the US. They're beautiful, beautiful places right here in our country in the United States that we absolutely love. And so we'll do another episode for that. But thank you for joining everyone. And please join us every Monday at 11 o'clock Central, unless we're traveling, of course. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day to all the
Yes, right.
fathers out there. Bye-bye.
Bye.